So, a few days before the ZANU-PF conference, we saw Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa preferring to actually, appoint Ziyambi over the then Secretary for Legal Affairs, and I'm talking about none other than Patrick Chinamasa. And the mind-boggling question is, why did Mnangagwa prefer Ziyambi over Patrick Chinamasa? And apart from that, we saw Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa showing the back door, not the back door per se, but also reshuffling, but it was firing of the ZANU-PF Secretary General, that is also Obert Mpofu. Why did he want these individuals out of the critical decisions, out of the critical positions within ZANU-PF today? Because there is seemingly less drama. I think these are the issues that we need to revisit. They will actually point us to the direction Mnangagwa faction intends to take from today onwards, developing from what they have already done. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So, why would Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa prefer Ziyambi over Patrick Chinamasa? Let me start there and then I'll finish with the other one. Now, let's look at Patrick Chinamasa, the history of Patrick Chinamasa, as well as Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. Now, Mnangagwa did not trust Patrick Chinamasa. They have not been in good books. I remember one of the days I did a video detailing a lot of things that have happened to Patrick Chinamasa from 2017 up to date. There have been numerous attempts on his life, and in Zimbabwe we know that if there is any criminality, especially done against a ZANU-PF official or a government official, and that criminality is not resolved, it is public knowledge and common cause that the government may be behind that criminality. So they cannot investigate themselves. So in my humble opinion, Mnangagwa did not like Patrick Chinamasa, especially to hold a critical political position, such as being the ZANU-PF Secretary for Legal Affairs. Number one, he didn't like him from the word go. Number two, Patrick Chinamasa is that kind of politician who did not get the plan of Mnangagwa quite clearly. He did not get the plan of Mnangagwa quite clearly, and he wanted to actually put Mnangagwa in the corner during the 2024 ZANU-PF annual conference. Now I'll be taking you also through the differences that are visible to us between the 2024 ZANU-PF annual conference as well as the 2025 ZANU-PF annual conference. If you notice the behavior of the position of Secretary for Legal Affairs in 2024 vis-a-vis the behavior of the Secretary for Legal Affairs now, you would understand why Mnangagwa preferred a choice of Ziyambi. Now, caption this, and Patrick Chinamasa was being just kept there, hoping they will take care of him. But maybe because of his God is actually protecting him. That is why he is still alive up to today. And acting in a manner he has been acting. He is one of the old men who is actually fighting to survive under the current regime of Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. So let me go back. So when it comes, that's why you would see, even though Patrick Chinamasa was the Secretary for Legal Affairs, Mnangagwa put Ziyambi to be the Minister for Legal Affairs. And that showed you that he did not trust him in his government. Mostly, if you are a secretary for the same portfolio in party, they deploy you also to be the secretary for the same portfolio in government. But in this regard, it did not happen that way. Mnangagwa's preferred choice was actually Ziyambi. Why Ziyambi? Because these are boys of Mnangagwa. Ziyambi, and as well as this one, Minister of Home Affairs, he also has repetitive names. These are the boys of Mnangagwa. When he tells them something, they don't even ask questions. They don't ask a lot of questions. They go to implement. They are ready to die for Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. These are people in ZANU-PF without political capital. They don't have political capital. They exist in ZANU-PF for the purposes of safeguarding the interest of Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Nothing more or nothing less. So if you look at Ziyambi, in 2025 ZANU-PF conference, what he did, he started with resolution number 1. But if you look at Patrick Chinamasa during the 2024 ZANU-PF annual conference, he ended with resolution number 1 and pouring cold water on that particular resolution. But Ziyambi started with resolution number 1 and read it as it is and said it was going to be implemented. And Ziyambi is going with this narrative that it is not the president who wants 2030. It is ZANU-PF members. As such, that's why you have heard ZANU-PF members these days speaking about the party superseding the government. They say the party is above the government. That language is meant to derive this perception that government officials do not make decisions. The people who make decisions are ZANU-PF members, and these decisions should be implemented by the government. That is the narrative. But that has never been the norm in ZANU-PF. They are pushing that narrative because at the moment there is someone who does not have balls to actually push for, to openly push for 2030 term extension, because they understand the repercussions and the consequences that may befall him thereafter. So what they want to do, they want to run this project as if, no, if it has been rubber stamped by the conference. Ziyambi, you are appointed as the Minister of Legal Affairs, and you are also the ZANU-PF Secretary for Legal Affairs. Your duty is to implement this policy, because the conference has rubber stamped it in the pretext that the party decides what the government should do. So that is why you see the pompous Ziyambi. He is pushing for the implementation of Resolution 2030 into a law. And they make this assertion that it doesn't require the endorsement of Mnangagwa. And Mnangagwa, on the other hand, is saying, no, when my time comes, I will go. And is speaking about 2028 elections, while this Ziyambi is indicating the other thing. They are pushing for 2030 extension of Mnangagwa's term. So Mnangagwa wants someone like Ziyambi. Ziyambi was coached from the onset. I'm putting you in this position. This is what I want you to do for me. And he is playing by the script. On the other hand, Chinamasa is not a trusted person to Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. That is why when he went to consult regarding Resolution 2030, Mnangagwa will not be open to him. So he did not actually catch up with the signal of Mnangagwa. There is no trust between Mnangagwa and Patrick Chinamasa. Although Patrick Chinamasa has been twerking for Mnangagwa, but there is no trust. There is deficit of trust in the relationship between these two. So in order for Mnangagwa's ambitions to be actually pushed, Ziyambi is actually a supporter of Zwikananda. He is a staunch supporter of Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. So that's why the Zwikananda, they made it a point, he gets to that position. And if it was Patrick Chinamasa, when it comes to actually announcing the resolutions, he would have started by consulting with Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa and most probably repeat the statement that he issued in Bulawayo. But that is why Mnangagwa had to actually move so quickly and reshuffle him, put him in a useless position, not because he trusts him. He knows that in that task he was going to fail, and it meant they will have to wait for another ZANU-PF conference for the resolution to be implemented. So Mnangagwa at this point, he wants a legal instrument to be actually concluded by the parliament so that it's left for only him to sign. He can keep that bill for as much as he wants, whilst they are trying to see and look at means and ways of actually getting rid of the threat that prohibits them to actually go on up to 2030. And in this regard, it is none other than retired General Chwenga. So Patrick Chinamasa was perceived as a loose cannon, whom had to be put in a useless political position. Also, let's come to Obert Mpofu. Obert Mpofu, I said, I don't think, in my view, this is how I'm thinking it. And I don't think Obert Mpofu was neither part of Chiwenga faction or also a part of Mnangagwa faction. Obert Mpofu is one of these political figures who were in the fence. So, and Obert Mpofu was taking instructions from both Chiwenga as well as also Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. Now, in the absence of Mnangagwa, Obert Mpofu was instructed by Chiwenga to write certain documents. And these documents were in contradiction with the plans and the intentions of Mnangagwa faction. Now, let me start firstly with the issue of co-option of Budawashe Takwire. Obert Mpofu was given an instruction by actually Chiwenga to clarify the issue of co-option of individuals such as Budawashe Takwire. And we know the letter that he wrote, which was clarifying and which was limiting the chances of actually Takwire being part of the Central Committee meeting. And so, when Mnangagwa realized that, he had to reverse what was already put by Obert Mpofu on the public domain. So Obert Mpofu did not have the powers not to listen to Mnangagwa. And equally so, he did not have the powers not to take instructions from retired General Chwenga. That's why I always said it must be very difficult at this point in time as a ZANU-PF official to actually operate, because you are told by Chiwenga, do this. Mnangagwa comes and say, why did you do this? You're getting the sense. So Obert Mpofu was reshuffled because he listened to both Mnangagwa and Chiwenga. He did not want to be on the wrong side of Chiwenga. It didn't equally want to be on the wrong side of Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. So such a person to Mnangagwa was perceived as a threat to his interest. That is why Obert Mpofu had to be actually removed. I don't think since Obert Mpofu, I've said it long time ago, obviously narratives have been changed along the way, but we got to align him with Chiwenga, especially in the fact that he was listening to him. Obert Mpofu is that kind of a character who sits in the fence. Same applies to this fellow, the presidential spokesperson, George Charam. Is that character also wants to be at the center. Same applies to some who don't want, within ZANU-PF, who don't want to find themselves on the way of Mnangagwa or on the way of Chiwenga, because they have history, they know what happened historically, especially to those who decided to choose a faction during the reign of Robert Gabriel. At the moment, ZANU-PF officials do not know who will eventually be successful. You know, those who are supporting Mnangagwa, that is why you see them putting their emotions and everything. Individuals such as Ziyambi, that is why they are also trusted within the corridors of Zwikanandas as well as the Mnangagwa faction. So, and also, why did they put an individual like, why does Mnangagwa trust the Speaker of Parliament to be the Secretary General? The Speaker of Parliament listened to all the instructions of Mnangagwa. He had a proven record, especially during the coming in of Sengezo Chabang, and they acted according to Zwikananda's as well as Mnangagwa's ambitions. So he passed the test of being trusted by Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. And he has been promised vice presidency and also told that if you do this successfully, life would be rosy for you. In Parliament, he has done the Lord's work, which is the work of Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. He is coming into the party and coming because Mnangagwa can trust him. He did the job of Mnangagwa whilst he was in Parliament, and that is why he cannot actually replace him with another person in Parliament. So Jacob Mutenda is getting double salaries, that of the Speaker of Parliament as well as the salary of being the SG of ZANU-PF as a political party. So at the moment, even though he is not even given the vice presidency, he is most probably earning more than retired General Chiwenga. And this individual, Jacob Mutenda, is put there, given strict instructions not to listen to anyone but to Mnangagwa and Zwikanandas alone. So obviously people go on to ask me, do you then think that Mnangagwa would be successful at the end of the day? I've said Mnangagwa's downfall would be as a result of his miscalculations. Already miscalculations have started. What he is doing is a serious miscalculation. And bringing people now who will actually do the thing that is wrong, that may endanger him, as well as those people, is what will lead to his downfall. So in simple terms, I think I have given a new latest version on why Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa trusted Ziyambi over Patrick Chinamasa. I have also indicated on why Obert Mpofu was possibly fired by Emerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa. The guy was not fired because of not being loyal to Mnangagwa. He's one of those people, most probably after being fired, who went to Emerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa and Zwikanandas and knelt down and begged Mnangagwa. He's one of those individuals who did so because to him politics is a career. To him, politics is not a call to serve the people. And these ZANU-PF positions of Secretary General and so forth, all of them are appointed by Mnangagwa. No one is appointed by the conference. So they are very, very weak positions. Just like even the position of retired General Chwenga. He's an appointee. Mnangagwa, if he wakes up and he doesn't want him, he will just fire him. But he cannot do so. If he does so, then I'm telling you, the drama would have started. I will come to you with specific details of what will happen thereafter. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Also to remember to follow our channels on Facebook. We are Hloniphani Global News. And also on X, we are Hloniphani Global News. I see some of you are following. It's a very, very good decision. We are posting a lot of content in these other platforms, and we will continue also to do so. Okanqobi Umhlabane is signing off. Let me laugh and leave you. Let's meet on the other side.